thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Irado, and with me, as always, is a guy who always knows where Tay is going to wander next, Mike Van Bogart.
Oh, thank you, Joe, and thank you to all of our amazing listeners for tuning in. Just a few updates before we get going. First, I'd like to thank our new Patreon supporters. We have Emily Happy and Cheryl Yankovic.
So, is she related to Weird Al?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
It might be Cheryl Yankovic.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
today's episode is going to be a little bit unique. We're just doing an interview with Taylor Hutchinson from Tay Wanders. That's obviously the call out for Mike.
Yeah. No, it was, we actually, it's a really cool interview. She has some incredible stories. She has been basically living on the road and creating content, and she's been selling a lot of her content to brands and different places around the country, and she's got tons of stories. She's traveling around with her 6-year-old daughter, and we had it was a really great interview. We're going to try and do more of these once in a while, interview creators and other people that are not specifically related to missing people, but kind of wilderness adjacent.
Absolutely. Just wilderness storytelling.
Yeah, because she is living a life I wish I could.
Yeah.
Just traveling around in a truck, hiking in national parks.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
And for people who are already fans of her, you get a little bit of the inside baseball of the work that goes into being a creator.
How it happens. How does someone become that? It's very interesting. Some funny stories of where she's been spotted by fans.
And we're recording this intro after.
Yes.
And she neglected to tell a pretty incredible story. So we're actually going to have her back on, and we're hoping to, maybe this will help push her, when she's in the field next.
Yes.
We want to try and do something live from the field, and she's going to tell a really incredible story of something that happened to her. So
yeah, it was an accident that it didn't come up, and I guess, I'm kind of glad it didn't, because now we can talk to her again down the road.
That was the universe telling us not to do it just yet. So
what else? I don't have my notes in front of me. So
I don't. The holidays just happened. If you're celebrating Christmas, that was yesterday. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. But please tune in, pay attention, and go ahead, like and subscribe. Follow Tay Wanders on all the socials. And she's really cool. She puts out great content.
She does. And then we'll probably be back, I would say, maybe the second week of January.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a little hiatus and take some time.
I mean, not really, like 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks. It's actually like standard time.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. Okay. We'll be back at some point in January, probably that second week.
We'll talk to you next year.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Here we go with our interview with Tay Wanders. Today, we are sitting down with Tay, a Southern girl turned road warrior, storyteller, and adventurer who approaches travel with confidence, intention, and grounded faith-centered perspective. She's a single mom, content creator, and avid explorer who creates storytelling-led outdoor and travel content designed to help women step into adventure, feeling prepared and empowered through destination inspiration, practical safety guidance, and detailed itineraries. Tay helps make big, beautiful places feel accessible instead of intimidating. What started as traveling out of her truck during COVID quickly turned into a full-scale business. By working remotely, she's built a lifestyle that allows her to stay present with her daughter while giving her firsthand experience of the world from a young age. Tay's story is about taking calculated risks, trusting yourself, and realizing that adventure doesn't have to wait for someday. We're excited to dive into her journey and how it all came together and what she's learned along the way. Tay, welcome to Locations Unknown.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Is that the first time someone's read your intro to you? I can always tell by the face.
Well, I just went through a little rebrand, so I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to hear it back.
That's good. I'll send it to you afterwards. You can use it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go into some questions and learn about your adventures.
Yeah, well, I'm Tay. I'm Tay Wanders on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, which TikTok is literally just my Instagram content. So if you just prefer an app, it's the same content. I travel the US right now, and well, I guess North America with my daughter and my dog, who is right here right now. You may hear her like crunching on her bone in the background now and then. We like to hike and just be outdoors. I try to go where people aren't, and I want to educate people on how to get to these places safely because safety is like a big thing, which is one of the things I also love about the Locations Unknown podcast. Because I'm like, yes, there's like true education on how to access places safely and what you should have with you, and it's actually changed a lot of how I explore, and here we are now. Yeah, I'm in Texas currently and relocating to southern Utah, or like I guess long-term traveling in southern Utah here soon, and I'm super stoked.
So you didn't set out to be a content creator, right? You just kind of fell into it. Can you tell a little bit about how you've come along that journey and how you kind of ended up here?
Absolutely. So I actually in high school got into photography because all my friends were into it. And we just ran around doing like photo shoots, and that carried into college. And me and my best friend in college would go around and like do photo shoots and that kind of stuff all the time. And I wasn't really like into the hiking or traveling scene at that point. We were just kind of like staging things for fun. And then I ended up having my daughter, she's now 6, but at the time was a little baby. And that's when and then COVID hit like very shortly after she was born. So I started road tripping around in my truck, and because I had a tent on my truck and a little lift, and I was like, oh, I can get places. And so we just go tripping around the US in my truck, and it kind of morphed from there. I started picking up that like, oh, like brands and hotels like want these photos that I'm already taking for fun. And it snowballed from there, and I ended up getting my degree in digital marketing, and now I'm doing it full time, which is super fun.
That's fantastic. I did visit your website, and it's really well put together. I really like how it's set up. It kind of feels like a comic book also, and it's like it's really neat how you have your videos. But so did somebody like see your content and ask you to do a brand deal, or is this something you just realized on your own? Like, oh, this might be something that people will pay for?
A little bit of both. So I was like posting content consistently, and then like people would be like, oh, we want to give you a discount on our clothing. And I was like, oh, okay, brands like, I guess like what I'm doing, but like I didn't really completely piece together that you can make money. And I actually follow this couple. They did full-time travel content. Now they're more like family-based content, but I loved what they were doing. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, this brand sent us this. And I started kind of piecing together that you could do like paid partnerships, and they were like doing this for a living. And I was like, hold on a second. I get paid to travel. What am I doing? And that really sparked it. I will say I ended up winning a trip to Alaska, and the host of that trip was a creator coach. Her name is Maddie. I owe everything to her. But I'm meeting her, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm making like this much money on this trip, and I'm filming for like 3 brands. And I was like, and she's like, I don't post any of it. She had like maybe 6,000 followers on Instagram. And I was like, hold on, you can get paid to do this without having like have tons of followers. And then that snowballed everything. And she is the reason I'm doing this full time today.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. So she didn't have a huge following. Was it just she was selling the content she was creating for them to take and use?
Yeah, she was creating just UGC videos. So just like organic videos that brands would post as ads that like she filmed on her phone, and or like just took pictures of on her phone, and like brands could use them in ads. And at the time it was like the highest converting content form. And she taught it to me, and now I apply it, and I'm doing like higher quality stuff now. But I don't know. It's what got started.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
So at what point would you say people really started paying attention, where you felt like maybe a tectonic shift from, okay, this is an idea, this is cool, maybe I'm getting discounts on stuff, to I'm really starting to make a living, and maybe talk about the work. I think people look at you, because even in your short videos, it looks amazing and like it's fun all the time. I'm assuming it's not, and it's a lot of work.
Oh, it's so much work. There's a lot of trips that have been disastrous. I went to Utah a couple weeks ago, and that was the epitome of just like one of those trips where literally nothing goes to plan, and you have to be willing to be like, okay, we're really making lemonade and we're stretching the lemons really far right now. No, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of like waking up at 5 a.m., going to bed at midnight sometimes, and like you're working from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed a lot of the times on these trips. And you have to be willing to be like, oh, well, I was gonna do this hike, but it's pouring rain and I can't. Or oh, I was gonna do this and it's thunderstorming. Like you have to be willing to adapt to different things, and so it's a lot of effort.
I have a question. So like a typical month in your life on the road, how much, I'm just thinking about the preparation we used to do for some of our big backcountry hikes. We would start planning months in advance, maybe a little too OCD about it, but it would just a lot of effort just for like a 1 or 2 week trip. So you say you've got a month coming up where you're out on the road. What kind of preparation are you doing? And then kind of like once you're on the road, what's your thought process of what areas to pick, or how are, what are you going to do? Like, do you think about the shot you want to get, or are you just thinking about this seems like the funnest hike I could do in this park?
Yeah. So basically a lot of my trip inspirations actually start from like things I'll see on social media. I'll be like I'll see a reel or a photo and I'll be like, oh, that looks like an interesting place. And then I'm very OCD, like type when it comes to trip planning, I'm very type A. I have a very detailed itinerary, often down to like the hour of where I'm trying to be, photos I'm trying to take where, which gives me a direction, but also I end up sending this to like my parents so they know where I'm at all times. Especially my dad, because he's like very good at technology and maps and like being like, oh, okay, if something goes wrong, he knows how to get something done. And I trust that he'd find me. But no, it'll typically start with like I'll see like a picture or something of a place and it'll snowball from there. I use like Pinterest a lot of the time, which seems kind of, I guess, I don't know, maybe counterintuitive, but I feel like I find the best off the beaten path things through like Pinterest, and I'll just like type in the name of the location and then go through blog posts that way. And that's how I find a lot of these like super scenic hikes or like random things that I may not have found by just typing it in like a Google search. In terms of like preparation, because I was doing a lot of like truck based stuff before then, so I would always clean out my truck. I wanted a clean slate. That way I knew exactly where everything was. It was like a complete reorganization, making sure I had a way to be connected if I was off grid. So I have a Wii Boost and I have a Starlink. Both are permanently mounted to my truck. I have a power grid system. I have solar for that, and I also have a way to charge it through my truck. I typically carry like extra gas, a case of water. I also have water filters, because a lot of the places I go are off grid or like kind of inaccessible, where like it's not like, oh, I'm out of water, I gotta run to the store. Like I kind of want to be prepared as much as I can. Yeah, so that's kind of like the planning process, prep. Once I'm on a trip, I try to stick with my plan as much as possible, but also being flexible is a really big thing. And that was something that took me a little while to like learn about. Like, okay, like weather's gonna affect things, or car troubles are gonna affect things, or random things can happen, and you just kind of have to be willing to go with it.
You just got to roll with the punches.
Exactly.
Your truck sounds pretty interesting. I'll be honest, I follow some creators on YouTube that are not creators as far as like hiking type creators, but there's this one guy in Alaska who like retrofitted his truck with a living space on the back, and he basically has lived in the wilderness in Alaska for like a year from his truck, and he just kind of films every day of life like on the road in his truck, and he's got all the amenities of like a full house in this truck.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like you could almost have a second channel where you just like film your days on the road in this truck, and I think a lot of people would watch that too.
100%. It's a very unique way of doing things. The term is technically overlanding, but a lot of people like to refer to it like car camping or car living. It's like van life, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of different.
A little bit more hardcore.
A little bit, yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
So speaking of that, have you ever ran into major issues that while you're way out there on backup?
I was gonna say what kind of issues are we talking, like car troubles?
I would say car trouble. So if you're out in a very remote spot, like the type of area where you need your extra water, you need your extra gas, did anything ever happen where you were worried about maybe not being able to get back out on your own?
Yeah, thankfully I haven't had like a situation where I'm stranded overnight, and I'm grateful for that, but I feel like it's bound to happen at some point. We definitely had incidents where like I'm riding with a group and someone breaks down and we're like a 3 hour trail takes 12 plus hours and we're driving off at midnight and like that kind of stuff. I've definitely had cases where like I didn't stick to my own rules of camping, which like one of them is like arrive at my campsite in the daylight, and I was chased through the desert in Utah, and it was kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna end up on one of these podcasts.
Yeah, that would be not good.
No.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So I always wonder people if they so when we're hiking, we've always joked that sometimes we're more afraid of maybe some of the people we might interact with out in the wilderness instead of the animals. And I was just wondering if you feel the same way, or if you've come across some interesting characters while you've been out hiking. I know Joe and I have.
Yes.
And we've also come across grizzlies, and I gotta say, I'm probably a little more scared of the people we've come across. So, I don't know. What's your take on that?
I would definitely say I'll take the bear any day.
Yeah.
No, I've encountered some scary people. I definitely go equipped to protect myself. I also have a big dog.
Yeah.
Like I have a German shepherd, and she's like super protection driven. I think that between those two things, I get a lot of confidence to like adventure solo. But I can't say without those, I would be like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we came across where was that we were at?
It was Zion?
No, it was BLM lands in Utah, and this guy came out of the wilderness.
Yeah, okay, we were at Zion and this was a different hike.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah.
And
What was his name?
Splinter.
Splinter.
And I think he was crazy. He told us that Disney had stole a bunch of songs that he wrote, and also we were all kind of like, we had our hands on our knives, like ready to defend ourselves.
He literally we're in the desert and we're the only ones out there, and he just came from the bushes,
just
like
walked
right
out
at us.
Yeah.
It was like,
there was
boys.
no car, there was no sign that someone else was there. We were the only people for miles. And he just was like there.
He was there telling us about how Disney stole his ideas.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, we've come across some interesting people. I came across a nudist colony on the island of Kauai when you were hiking.
That's not so scary.
in a different way. Yeah, these people just lived out in the jungle off the grid, and they had their own little like town. They had a library and a farm, and they would get kicked out by the state every couple of years, and the state would come in there and tear everything down. And then as soon as they were gone, they were all back in there. Within 30 minutes, they were back in there, setting their town back up. So
bizarre.
Yeah, very weird. And they all drank this psychedelic mushroom soup. So they would drink it at night, and they would all be tripping out.
Like, sign me up. I'm in. Yeah. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Sounds like an experience.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
one thing, along those lines, traveling by yourself, especially with maybe your own daughter, that takes a lot of confidence. A lot of, I'd say, the best word is confidence. Did you always have that? Were you just the type of person that would go out and do that? Or is this something you had to really push yourself to do?
I've had to push myself. I'm very like anxious, and I think the world's just a very sketchy place sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I get one life, and I can either live in that fear, or I can do it scared. And so like one of my mottos is just like, do it scared. It's not that deep. Realistically, the chances of something happening are pretty slim. Just be prepared as you can. And I'd rather live life and like know I'm maximizing experiences than like sit where it's safe.
Yeah.
So that's maybe a good line. What's something that you would say you were maybe scared of early on that now is like second nature to you, that like doesn't bug you as much anymore when you look back at it?
Sleeping in my tent alone.
Really?
It was like such a weird thing because I'm like way off the ground. I can walk myself in. I don't have like how my tent system is on my truck.
Mm-hmm.
I can access it through the bed of the truck. There's like a hatch inside. So I can lock the tailgate, I can lock the doors. Like there's no ladder outside. No one can just like easily climb up in my tent with me. But I still had this fear that like for some reason someone was gonna come up while I was up there. And then I encountered a couple weird people, and I encountered a really, really big bear that kept coming to my campsite like multiple nights in a row. And after that, I was like, wow, this is the worst that could happen. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it's okay. I'm locked up in my tent. I have my dog. Like, it's really not that deep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So, what do you think is like a thing that would, I would say, hold most women back from taking their first solo adventure?
I would say fear. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the whole man versus bear thing. I think a lot of women are just afraid of what men can do. Not something I super talk about, but I've like been in a couple of relationships with very scary men. And it took me a little while to overcome that. That's where that was where a lot of my fear came from. I was like, okay, I've been on the recipient end of like some terrifying people and terrified of it happening again. But I don't know, at some point you just gotta live your life. And you can't let past experiences or potential experiences stop you. That's again where I just talk about being prepared. I always have bear spray, I always have knives. Like I said, I have my dog, which gives me a lot of assurance, and just being as prepared as you can be. Also having my Starlink has given me a lot of like mental reassurance. I'm like, okay, I could call for help in the instance I needed to. And I could just turn it off if I wanted to be disconnected, which I don't. I like the idea that I can just make a phone call really easily if I needed to, but I don't know, just doing it anyway.
That's really inspirational. Have you talked a lot about that on your platform? I haven't watched all of your content, obviously, but that just seems like something that would help potential people honestly, maybe people that have been in a situation like yours to like try something, rediscover their own life, to get out there and do something bold and fun and new that might help them.
Yeah, no, I have some. It was like probably my older content, but I plan to make that more a part of like the rebrand. So going forward into 2026, I'm planning to focus on like more adventure confidence driven content. So that's where I'm going to dive really deep more into safety, gear, preparation, knowing where you're going to go, having like an itinerary, recommendations for what's safe. Because like as someone who's again been on the wrong end of that, I feel like I could speak a lot into women who are like afraid of that happening again.
That's really great.
Yeah.
And maybe this will serve as a little bit of that kickoff. What is half of our audience women?
Yeah.
It's almost like down the middle,
half.
right?
No,
over half?
Majority women.
Really?
In like, I would say 20 to 45.
Okay, there you go. So this could be the start of your 2026 confidence kickoff for traveling.
Joe and I were shocked when when early on we didn't have enough listeners to really have the kind of data, but now that we've been doing this for so long and we've gotten bigger, I was kind of shocked our demographic. I didn't know. I guess
we didn't think they'd relate to us.
Yeah,
not that they relate to us,
yeah,
but it's that's why we brought on. I'm blanking on their name now. The podcast we have,
Crime Off the Grid,
and
off the
trails. That's what it is. We're like, we really should get some like women who are doing stuff too, to like, if we're gonna do this network, to like cater to their demographic. And
yeah,
surprisingly, a lot of women listen to our show.
And I think I feel like maybe there is some kind of a stereotype that maybe women don't do a lot of hiking, but I can tell you from
I see them out there
doing our show, I would say more women are out there hiking than guys, to tell you the truth.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them solo hike and are doing far more than, a lot of the guys out there. So that was something I did not expect when we started the show, but it's, blatantly obvious now.
This is maybe a good question for you, Tay. So like one of the things I try and do, but after doing our show and talking to people like you, whenever I'm hiking, especially if I come across a solo female hiker, I always like, this is going to like sound like performative male stuff. My daughter makes fun of this type of stuff, but like, I always try and be extra nice to be like, I'm not a threat. What's like the best thing you should do so that I don't look like an idiot or come off even creepier, because I'm trying not to.
Maybe just say hi and keep walking.
I do that. I do that. But if they engage in conversation, here's one thing I do. If they engage in conversation, because a lot of people I run into are nice. The vast majority of the people I run into are nice. I immediately talk about my kids and my marriage. It's almost like I'm not single. I have people and that I feel like that brings their like them into a more calm state.
I don't know. You don't really look like a threatening person.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You don't have like face tattoos or
What's wrong with face
That would be
tattoos?
the
man?
red flag.
yeah. So
Yeah, no, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that maybe every woman's answer might be different. I feel like if I engage in conversation, I'm fine if they respond, but I feel like if a guy starts engaging in some type of extended conversation and stops me on the trail, that makes me feel a little nervous. Just because I'm like, okay, why are you trying to stop me? Like, why are we still standing here? But it's interesting because someone asked me this earlier today, actually. I had a guy message me and he's like, I don't want to be offensive, but like as a man, like what's the best way to pass a woman on a hiking trail? I was like, honestly, I appreciate that question. I would just say, I don't know, I told him, I was like, I think, like nodding, smiling, and just kind of keep moving is like typically safe. And then like if she engages in like a conversation, it's a little different. But I'm like, okay, if someone's stopping me, my brain's instantly going, okay, why are you stopping me? Why are we in a conversation? Why won't you let me like continue on my way? Like my mind instantly goes to like motives, but I'm also like always on the lookout for weirdos.
Sure.
I kind of have the mindset of when I see other people, male or female, hiking on the trail, I kind of just say hi and keep moving unless I see a problem where like maybe they look distressed. I might stop and talk to them. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking like if someone stopped me and started, male or female, and started talking for minutes at a time, I might start getting agitated just because I want to keep hiking. So I kind of try to think the same, like, these people probably don't want to talk to me. I'm just going to say hi and keep on moving.
See, I love talking to people. That's why I hold back.
At like a
I'm
campsite, if you're at a campsite and there's other people camping, maybe.
I just like talking to people all the time.
Now, park ranger, I might stop and talk to. If I pass a park ranger on the trail, I love talking to park rangers because they all have crazy stories and they're all super friendly. They all want to talk for the most part. So, I have a question for you, actually. How supportive has the Park Service been with your recording within the parks, or has that even been an issue for you? I know we've discussed various projects in the past, and one of the biggest hurdles is Park Service is usually not very friendly to people recording, like for commercial purposes in the park. So I don't know if you've come across that or if it's not even been an issue.
I haven't had a problem, but I like the way I read it on their website is it's kind of like if you're making money off the content, then you can't do it. And I haven't monetized in a national park, so I feel like I may be misunderstanding it, but I'm like, okay, I'm in the gray area, I'm safe, so I'm kind of just doing it.
Yeah, and I think it relates to more of like if you bring a crew in, if you're just self-recording.
That's got to be a gray area because if you just film a video and you're on Instagram and you end up making money from it, it's not like you went out intentionally, technically, to do that.
And there's a lot of people that do that.
Yes.
So, okay.
Exactly.
I was just curious.
Have you ever had a moment on the road where your gut said nope and you just abandoned some plan? Like there was no reason why you weren't going to go on the trail, but there's like some feeling came across. You're like, you know what? Not today.
Absolutely. Actually, this happened this summer. So I was going on like a 3-month road trip. I was gonna go across the western US and hit multiple states. I got to Colorado and my next stop was supposed to be Yosemite, and I was supposed to go backpacking through Yosemite for like 3 nights. And I had a group with me. It wasn't like I was going by myself. And it was people that I knew. And for some reason, once I got there, like I just had the worst gut feeling about it, like to the point I was almost nauseated and I couldn't explain it. I ended up canceling, and which worked out better for a couple of the other people in the group, but I was just like, I cannot explain it, but I just have a really terrible feeling about continuing. And I know in the past when I've like ignored those, usually things don't go well. So I don't know. Yeah, no, I had that happen this summer, and that's where I'm a big advocate. Just trust your gut. If you're driving and you're going somewhere and something just feels absolutely off, there's nothing wrong with listening to that. There's a lot wrong if you don't, and then something happens.
Yeah, you listen to our show enough, you could just tell yourself one of those things would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, intuition, there is something to that. I mean,
I believe in it.
Yeah, your body tells you more than people sometimes tune in for, and
I think it's the universe telling you something.
Yeah,
all the
something's
energy
just not right, and yeah, you just got to call it off.
There's there's something to gut feelings. Like, we survived as long as we have because, more often than not, listen to those gut feelings. I'm a big advocate for, like, listen to your gut. What is it telling you? Because it's probably right.
Now, on a scale of, say, 0 is no risk and 10 is super risky, when you're out on a hike and you're looking for that perfect shot, what's your scale of how risky you're willing to push it to get that one shot or to get that clip or something?
I don't. I have a 6-year-old at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally play things probably safer than a lot of people would, but I'm like, okay, if something happens to me, I'm all she has, and so like that's always in my mind.
Yeah, I used to, our group, we had different levels of risk taking with the different guys, and I always I always was the one that kind of tried to bring some of the guys back from doing the riskier things. But yeah, then that's interesting. I've noticed too, as I've gotten older, my level of risk I'm willing to take has gone down.
This is dropping dramatically
Yeah.
as you get more tired.
Yeah, that too.
I'm too tired to be injured right now.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever recognized you on the trail since you've been blowing up? Do you get spotted by people?
So this is actually kind of funny. Okay, so yes, it's happened a couple times. I got recognized last year in the Tetons. I was like, my truck had broken down in the Tetons, and it was in a shop getting repaired. So me and my daughter and my dog all walked to this like park that was nearby, and this guy is like running down the greenway, and all of a sudden he goes, "Wait, you're Taylor!" And I was like, "Yes."
So is that one of those things you don't do to you on the trail?
Yeah.
I follow you on Instagram. You're awesome. And I was like, oh, okay, keep it up, and kept going. And then this summer, this is where I'm laughing more so. I ended up staying in Colorado all summer instead of finishing my trip, just for whatever reason. Again, the gut feeling thing. I just felt off. I ended up staying in Colorado, which was a phenomenal decision. And I worked at a KOA to like gap some bills a little bit. And I was working as a housekeeper. So we went to the back bathrooms one day to like clean the bathrooms. And I'm like in one of the stalls scrubbing toilets because they're like individual. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Are you Taylor?" And I'm like in a KOA shirt scrubbing the toilet. And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "I follow you on Instagram. I recognize you from Georgia." And I was like, this is terrible timing.
That is so awesome. That's really cool though. It's like the real side of content creation. Like when you're up and coming, guess what? Bills still have to get paid.
I was like, yeah, it's just me housekeeping at the KOA.
That's so awesome.
That's funny.
So funny. I cracked about that for a while.
That's a great story for when you're like really huge. Just you don't have to do that anymore. It's very humbling. You know, your roots I think are important to keep you real. So
I remember when I was working 3 jobs. Yeah, scrubbing toilets was one of them.
So along your road of content creation, what are some of the mistakes you made early on that you would maybe like, say if me and Mike wanted to do this full time content creation, that is, what are some of the things you did early on that you look back and were like, that was a bad move. It would have saved me a lot of time, or that was just like a path that didn't really amount to anything.
Yeah, I guess it's like specifically for me, one of them would be not investing in like a mentor sooner. Because I just attempted to do stuff for about 1.5 years before I finally invested in like a mentorship program. And then I was like, and that was like literally within a month I was making money. And I was like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? So like I think investing in yourself, like resources, like books, a course, mentor, whatever, was a big game changer. Also, I feel like I had another one. I can't think of what it was.
No, has there been moments where you've questioned whether you keep going down this path because of the hard work?
So often. I had that moment this summer when I hit the brakes for a little bit this summer with my business when I was doing the KOA stuff. I hit burnout. I went through a really bad breakup, and it just like between those two things, I needed to do nothing for a while. And I had some like family things going on, and it's like the mix of everything was just a lot mentally. And I was really contemplating this summer. I was like, I should just, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. And in August or end of August, early September, I hosted a group trip to Yellowstone and with a co-host, Goldie. She was awesome. But everyone who showed up there who'd like been following me for years on Instagram, they were just like, we're so grateful for what you do. Like, it's inspiring, it's amazing. And they're like, you're exactly like what we thought you'd be. We met you in person. And I was just like, wow, that's like exactly what I needed to hear. Like, I'm doing something right. And like, I'm not fake. I always wanted to be authentic. That was like a big thing for me personally, is I always want people to like, like when they say like, don't meet your heroes because they're different in person. And I was like, I don't want to be that. I want someone to meet me and like be exactly who they thought I was. And like hearing that out loud was just like, thank goodness I did something right.
That's good.
But yeah, there's definitely moments. There's definitely moments where I'm just like, this would be easier if I just got a regular job.
Well, I mean, being authentic is really, I mean, that's the key, because there's so many people out there that are really just fake, and people can sense when you're truly authentic. It comes through your photos and your videos, and it's probably why your audience, loves what you're doing. They're following you because you're probably the exact same person in person if you were with them as they view you in the videos, which is pretty rare in social media. So many people are just, putting on a show, and they don't actually mean it, and they're a different person when the camera's off.
Yeah, I've met people who are like that, and then I've met people who are like exactly like what you'd think. And after the comparisons, I was like, yep, I want to be the same person online and offline. Like, I don't want there to be questions or doubt.
So do you do anything in any type of routine or on your trips that help you keep from burning out?
Yes, so I start my mornings every day. I read my Bible, I journal, I read a book. I start my mornings like with quiet, and I always try to not gonna say I always do this, but I always try to wake up before my daughter's up so I can have like at least an hour and to like start my day with like a little bit of silence, because that I'm actually an introvert, which is kind of funny because I do a very extroverted business, but I can be pretty introverted, and I like just like my quiet time. I think between that, I eat very healthy as well, which keeps me like kind of rooted. And when I feel like I'm eating well, I know my brain is better, I'm sleeping better. I can be a little anal about my sleep at times. Like, I mean, there are some trips where you're literally getting 5 hours of sleep, and then if the weather's crapping out, then I'm like, okay, well, we're prioritizing sleep so I can feel human and not be band-aiding it. Yeah, I just think like simple routines like you would even do at home just help me to stay rooted. And when I neglect those, that's when things don't go well.
No, that's good. It sounds like you have like a really good routine and schedule that you're keeping that kind of keeps you on track, which is so important. Whether, like you said, at home, running your business out in the middle of nowhere, that's really good.
How long have you been on the road for in a given trip? I'm just curious, like
the longest stint?
Yeah, like the longest stint in between, like coming home to, wherever you were living at the time.
I guess. Oh, that's kind of okay. It's kind of complicated. I've technically been in like long-term travel since July of this year.
Okay.
So, but I have been back home with my family and stuff a few times in that period of time. So I guess currently probably about 5 months.
Okay.
Whatever that math is.
That's
it's a true nomad.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Have you ever thought about upgrade? So you're still in your truck? No, if you've upgraded, do you have an RV or a camper? Nice.
I have a little 20-foot travel trailer, and I have my own bathroom and a kitchen, and there's separate beds. So me and my daughter have space.
That's awesome.
And that has made the long-term travel thing so much better.
Your daughter is growing up like the coolest childhood.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all I was thinking.
I'm just thinking that, like, man, can you imagine being a kid and just traveling around to every park in the country, and you just wake up and go hiking every day? I mean, that sounds amazing.
What do you hope she absorbs from seeing you live this way and living with you this way?
Ultimately, I hope she knows to pursue her dreams and not to fall into like what other people tell her she should. Whether that, I mean, like, I support whatever that is, even if her dream was literally to grow up and be a stay-at-home mom. If that is her dream, I want her to do that. If her dream was to be a world traveler, I want her to do that. If her dream was to be a doctor, I want her to do, like, I hope that she is watching me chase dreams relentlessly, and I hope that she has that same passion. And I hope I can support whatever that is.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really neat. Seems like you have a great relationship with her. I almost don't want my kids to listen to this episode because they're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
I know.
What's up, Dad?
I
You're
have
just like sending me off to school every day, and you have a normal job, and I could be out in the mountains all the time.
You're right. No, she's gonna be a badass hiker when she gets older with
100%.
doing all this, at the age of 6 and younger.
Yeah. I mean, how many 6-year-olds can be like, "Oh, we went to Canada and a whale touched our boat." And, like, she tells
Not
me
many.
all the time, and I'm like, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what even if that must drive you through the hard days of when things aren't going right. That at least she's experiencing, to her, this is like the coolest life ever.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, I love that she's like, "I've been here, we've been in that. Remember when we went to Yellowstone and we saw the bison? And remember when we went here and we saw this?" I'm just like, oh, I love that this is her childhood.
That is
That's amazing.
Awesome. That is awesome. So, of all the places you've been, do you prefer more flat desert or more mountainous areas? Mountains.
100%.
That was
Alaska,
so fast.
if you're gonna ask about a favorite place, it's Alaska. I've been 3 times. I cannot get enough of it. I have a goal in life to like go live there for a full year and like experience all the seasons there one day. But it's like it's so beautiful, and like I've been in every season at this point, and it's all immaculate and it's wild, and like you're out there, like you have to be really prepared. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a hike," and like there's a real risk something could go super wrong because it's very untouched, and it's so beautiful up there.
That's fantastic. So, where in Alaska, if you could pick, if you're going to go there tomorrow for a year, where would you live?
That's so tough. It's because there's like different areas that have like great features. So like Anchorage is like, okay, I wouldn't necessarily want to live in the city. I don't want to be like outside of Anchorage because then it's accessible to like Denali, it's accessible to the coast. But Seward, I think, is probably one of the most beautiful little places I've ever been to. It's like feels like a small town. In the summer, there's a lot of like cruise ships that go through, but the rest of the year, it's like very dead. It's right on the coast. They still get snow, but it's just beautiful, and like I can't get it. It's so green. It rains a lot, but it's really pretty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Alaska.
It sounds like I want to go there. I haven't been to Alaska yet. I still have to go.
I went hiking in Denali, and I've been in the Seward. She's exactly right. It's amazing. Denali, you're like, and that's not even the most remote park in the state. You could go to Gates of the Arctic, which is
anywhere in the Alaskan Triangle.
Gates of the Arctic is way north of Denali. That one is I don't have you been to that park? Gates of
I haven't.
Yeah, that one is, I think I don't know if we've done a case on that park, but it's like one of the hardest parks to get to in the country just because of the remoteness.
Fly in, right?
Yeah, I don't even think there's a car that can, or a road that can get you there.
That's terrifying. If you get hurt, you're just done. You're just done.
Don't get hurt.
Just you can't have anything go wrong.
In Denali is remote compared to other. I remember driving up to Denali, and maybe you experienced this too, but the mountain, as you like, we were still really far away, and it looked like just like a spaceship coming out of the ground. Like as you were getting closer to it, it's wild.
It's like the only tall, ginormous mountain.
And it starts out kind of small, and it's just like, holy cow!
I feel left out of this club now. Yeah. I'm so sad.
Someday
I'll go.
You could honestly, I think you would need a year to really explore Alaska properly. It's that
at
big.
a minimum. It's so big.
Yeah.
What's one place that surprised you in a good way that you've been to? Like that you didn't expect much, and then you got there and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like a hidden gem.
I have 2 answers. So I'd either say Tofino, Canada, which I got so much slack for this, but I posted this reel on Instagram. It was like the sleepiest town you haven't heard of because they average less than 1 million visitors a year. It's like a very small little town on Vancouver Island. People were like, we get 750,000 visitors a year, but it's like super cool. You can see them, like Vancouver Island, first of all, is a massive island. It takes 3 hours to drive the width of it. Like coast, like, seashore to seashore. And it's like near the northernish part of the island. But you can like see the mountains on one side, and then you have the ocean on the one side. and they have like coastal wolves and brown bears and like tide pools and like all this stuff. So like I feel like you can experience all kinds of different adventures and you wouldn't expect it. And if you go on YouTube, like a lot of it.
You said it was Tofino?
Downtown. What now?
You said it was Tofino?
Yeah, Tofino.
Okay.
And like a lot of the videos I watched online were like, here's a little coastal town, here's like some boardwalk trails you can go do, and like I think it's Pacific Rim National Park's right there, and like, but it's like very coastal, very beachy. And I left out the part where there's like hot springs and like boat tours that you go to these islands and you see all kinds of wildlife. And I was so surprised. I was there for a week and I was like, this is not enough time. I need more time here. And honestly, Alaska, like I had decent expectations for it, but I didn't expect to like connect with it so much. And I think it became more personal. My first trip there where I won the trip, I experienced a lot of like personal healing just through like being out in the wild and seeing Denali and like all the experiences. And every time I've gone back, it's just been like a literal life altering moment. But I don't know if that's just me, but I just was like, why don't more people visit Alaska? It's amazing.
That's good. Yeah, I've been to Vancouver Island. I've not gone that far. I went just down into Victoria for like a day and I hiked some of the parks around there on my way south. But
Tofino's also known as like a food hub. If you like good food, go with like a big budget and just eat your way through Tofino. Can't go wrong.
No hiking, just eat.
yeah. Are you being paid by Tofino?
Tofino, let's go. So good.
So that was on the positives. I'm curious, what was a place that there's got to be at least one place you've hiked where you're like, I just don't want to go back here again.
Okay, don't shoot me. The Tetons.
No, it's okay.
The Tetons?
I'm so underwhelmed. I've been there like 3 times and I'm just like, I don't get the hype. I don't understand.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you on this. And I went there once.
Yeah.
And here's why. Beautiful. But of all the other mountains I've seen, they're pretty average.
Yeah.
And it feels dumb saying it because there's people who haven't been there. But then there's like nothing else to do outside of looking at them, kind of. Hiking them, there's not great hikes. They're like okay. And then when we went, we ended up like camping like a couple nights and we went into town. And like that was the most fun.
Yeah.
In like the small town over there.
I think it's one of those.
Super cool.
It's one of those parks where hike it once, check it off the list. Like when I think of parks I've been the Tetons. It's not on my list of a park I'm gonna waste time going back to. Like I would go back to Zion again. I would go back to Mount Rainier again, Canyonlands again. Maybe do it and not almost die. There's so many other parks I would probably go back to over the Tetons. I enjoyed our trip there, but it's kind of I've seen it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. It's kind of like if you don't want to go Yellowstone because that's super packed, go to the Tetons. Because I remember Tetons being a lot less crowded.
Yeah, that's because it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Honestly, Yellowstone was a little underwhelming too.
Yeah.
But I go back to like wildlife at this point. Like I'm just like everything else is like okay, but I love going there for like wildlife photography.
I would say the most underwhelmed I've ever been in like a national park type place was Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore? Not New River Gorge National Park?
Okay, yeah.
That was the worst one I've ever been to.
No offense if anyone lives there.
Mike and I, we did one of our trips. Like it's the newest national park.
Yeah.
We should go down there for the show and like
kind of
talk
close
about
to
it.
where we live.
Yeah, and we were going to shoot content there. And I think we spent more time in the towns than on trails because we hiked like one of the 5 trails they had.
Yeah.
And it was like, come look at this bridge.
Yeah, it was a different kind of experience. Yeah, not like very remote. I mean, it's another one of those parks I'm glad we visited. I don't think I'd go back to hike, but back to Mount Rushmore. I'd only seen it in pictures, and I thought the carvings were huge. And when we went there, I was like, wow, it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Like you're looking, I'm like, it's still impressive they carved these faces on the mountain, but I'm like, it just seems really small.
Yeah.
I pictured in my head just huge.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was tiny when I saw it. So that's my like underwhelming. So
my dad told me it was underwhelming, and I just bypassed it and went to Custer. Custer was really cool.
yeah,
That was a stop, but I just was like, yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't need
Yeah.
to stop.
Black Hills was kind of we went there.
I like how this is just turned into
I
like
know, we're
what,
just
what are the crappy places?
Crapping on. No,
Where do you not go?
yeah. And one of the things,
Badlands.
how often do you hike in?
Cool.
Yeah,
You like Badlands? So I didn't like. We remember when we got kicked out of Montana for bear danger, so our trip
Yeah.
ended early. Not like forced out.
No.
We were at a campsite and we were there for 2 nights and like, what are you boys doing here? They closed down all the campsites for bear danger, so we had to spend the night with the rangers, thinking we were going to get mauled all night. So we had to leave early, and we're like, oh, let's go camp in Badlands. And we drove to Badlands, did the loop, and we're like, let's just go home.
Oh, no.
We didn't even stay. We just did. We're like, I think we just saw all of it. We can leave now.
yeah, yeah, Badlands. But no, I'm trying. What was I? I lost my train of thought.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We were crapping on national parks.
Yeah, just crap.
No, oh, I know what I was gonna ask. One of the things we never really got into a lot, but after doing our show, I've realized there's tons of amazing hikes in national forests out west that we never even really considered when we went hiking. Have you done a lot of content creation in national forests just because there's less people? There's no entrance fee, anything to get in. You can just go and hike, and it's something we kind of completely neglected. And some of them look really cool.
Yeah, I would say I have in Colorado, like more like the off-road trails. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're just like, everywhere. So I've done a lot in Colorado, and that was super duper fun. I wouldn't really say I've done a lot, but like I have stuff that's on my list. Like I
Yeah.
know when I go to Idaho, I'm going to be spending a ton of time in national forests.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I would probably say just Colorado, but there's definitely a lot of like hidden gems that I feel like are slept on because people are like, oh, let's go to the national park,
Yeah.
wherever, versus like exploring stuff that's outside of it. And
I would almost recommend people, because I know national parks now are getting so crowded.
Yes,
A lot of the popular ones, that if you're finding the parks that are too busy, like check out the national forest right next door, because a lot of times they'll be pretty empty, and there's tons, miles and miles of hiking. There's not really no amenities like a national park has, but if you like just open wilderness, a lot of national forests could be a good route.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, when I'm in southern Utah here soon, I'm planning to like hit a lot of like national forest stuff. I've already been doing lots of research. I'm pretty excited.
All right, I have one more, and then we can let you go, so we're not taking all your time up. But right now, I mean, I view you as you're still coming up. You're kind of catching your stride. This is just my opinion after watching your content. What does success look like to you now compared to what it used to be?
I think when I started content, it looked like what people show on Instagram, where it's like, and like it's like one of those things where like you have an idea of what it is, and over time it becomes personal. So I feel like I had this idea of like, oh, it's like flashy trips and like everything's a highlight reel. And now that I'm working hard, I'm like, honestly, my idea of success is like making enough to support me and my daughter, doing this alone, getting to work with like dream brands, getting to meet people. Like I for an introvert, I'm extremely community minded, and like I host group trips in hopes of just like connecting people and bringing them together in beautiful places. Because as someone who was a nervous traveler, I would have appreciated having like group trips that were accessible to me. Not these like $4,000 let's go to Iceland trips, but like something that like I was realistic and felt obtainable. I don't know. I feel like my idea of success now is just to make enough to support, and ultimately to have these connections, and to create a community of people who are like-minded, and that's so they don't feel alone either.
That's great. And also there's a new term for people, I'll say like us, because I'm the same way, and people are always shocked. I'm very introverted. Like if you put me in a networking event, I'm the guy that's hiding in the corner. Like I have to be around friends and then I explode.
At a wedding, you're the guy in the corner not dancing.
100%. Unless I'm around people I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Then I'm an extrovert. It's called ambivert.
So it depends. When you're comfortable, you're more extroverted. But when you're not, you're just completely inward thinking.
Interesting.
So that's I've learned that. My daughter told me that.
I've become more introverted as I've gotten older.
As you become grumpier.
Yeah, as I get grumpier.
No, Tay, I think that's great. I love your content. That's why we reached out to have you on the show. I hope that we can help you along that journey. Just all of our listeners come and follow you. Tell everybody where they can find your stuff.
Absolutely. So on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, I am Tay Wanders across the board. Also, I host group trips, so you can find details about that on Instagram. I currently have one live. I thought the registration closed. Apparently it didn't. It's $800. We can go to Iceland in March for $800 US. It's not a hoax. It's a really great trip, actually.
So is that you just got to fly there, but the whole trip is $800, or that include flights?
No, it does not include flights.
Okay.
So once you get there, it includes the guide service, transportation, all activities, and where we'd stay, which is a hostel. But where we stayed was super clean. It was a really nice hostel. And it's $800.
That sounds like an amazing deal. Yeah.
That is actually awesome. Yes. Yeah. So go check out Tay Wanders. Go subscribe to all of her things. Sign up to all the stuff. Go on all the trips.
Sign up the trip.
Yes, go on all the trips.
If you're one of those people that dreams about hiking, but you don't think you can do the planning, sign up for a trip like that.
Yes.
All you have to do is buy the airfare, and show up. And
heck yeah,
they'll take care of everything else.
Yes, it's actually quite perfect.
Yeah. That's, one of the barriers for hiking I hear from people is the planning that goes into it. They get scared that they're going to plan something wrong or miss something. So a trip like that is a perfect way for someone who's new into the, hiking and backpacking to get their feet wet without kind of the exposure and risk of planning it themselves.
Which is totally fair. It can be very terrifying, especially when you're oh, I'm going to go to Iceland, and you start trying to plan a trip and everything's in some other language. You're oh, I feel this trip would be a great way to dip my toes in. I could now confidently plan a trip, but I wouldn't have been able to plan a trip there prior to this group trip. Personally, I was this is very overwhelming.
No, that is so awesome.
I can't wait to see
I hope
how
in
it
our
goes.
future we can cross paths and all do a trip together or something as a group. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we become more and more popular of a podcast, maybe we'll get paid full time to do this, and you're getting paid full time. We'll go all do a huge combined group trip.
We'll
somewhere.
partner with the hosts from National Park After Dark. They do 7 trips a year.
Yes.
So
yes,
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of my other favorite podcasts. It's you guys and MPAV and Park Predators, 3 favorites.
Perfect.
Awesome.
We'll do some sort of major group thing for 100 people.
Sounds kind of bomb.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time today. It was awesome hearing your story. I hope it inspires people that listen. And I hope we can give you a huge bump in followers and help you along your journey of just doing this as your career, so you never have to clean toilets at a KOA ever again.
Yes. That's the goal. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been great. I'm glad it worked out.
All right.
All right.
Bye.